we have the standard drive centre and live centre, which is pretty commonplace to hold most work. Ball bearing in the tailstock fitting there, which will slide straight into the tailstock. And everyone's pretty familiar with that. But I'm going to show you a few different advantages of being able to hold stuff between centres. So if we were to take the standard cross section there of where it was gripped before and put that into there with normal turning practices, that's pretty straightforward. You can get all different types of sizes and drive centres, and then you can do a range of projects to suit yourself. You can see that. This is a really beastly drive centre, this one here. This is one I had factory built. Various other drive centres of ones over the years, right down to smaller tiny ones for doing chess pieces and the like. So, which is this one here. So I hope you can see those range of sizes, right down to the little wee one. That's only about 13 millimeters across. Then they come up in progression from there. The step centre is designed to naturally slip if you have a dig in with the tool, so it will actually slip and take the load off. Now watch carefully, I'll just undo the tailstock and I just push that across about 12 mils, then turn the lathe on. The ability to move your axis across the bed of the lathe and create something a little different is possible with between centre turning. So if we look at that, we can round this little wee piece over here. We can come in behind here. And then get down to solid wood. And you can start to create some really interesting shapes. So by taking that same piece now and pulling it out and then moving it over there at that end, just tap that back into there and staying back on the other centre, and then you're away again. So my point is the fact that it's not just about keeping everything straight, is it? Face plates, this is an aluminium face plate that Technical produced many years ago. They're not made anymore, the aluminium face plates. They moved to steel face plates and spun steel with various different threads to suit various different lathes. A really good addition to the faceplate situation is, if you have a look at that, and we turn that around, there's a sanding disc on the other side. So for a lot of people, they want to see that other reasons of how you can utilise your lathe. So faceplate, piece of 18 thick custom board, wind that onto your lathe, and you've got a really nice sanding situation there, haven't you? This is a drive centre. Can you see that? This is what we call a drive dog, really. And this, I've taken a insert. This is sort of out of left field, so it'll wind onto there, and that will drive on there, and it will drive big diameters. If it's a bigger diameter on my bigger lathe, then I use a bigger one. Big is good. So you've actually got, this is home built faceplate, the same as this sort of faceplate, which bolts up onto my larger lathe, and I can drive off those dogs there bigger diameters. And I have a preset pattern there for drilling holes into the end of the work. I match up my colour code there, and then so I take the pattern and I put it on the end of the work and I drill those 3 holes. then I can lift up the large bit of work and seat it up onto those holes there. Without any effort at all, it'll seat into there and drive it back through onto bigger diameters. I'm going to machine the taper, cut it in half, and then drive it in there and turn a little something on the end there. So we now have a piece of wood that we can drive in there. Look at that. So you want a gentle taper on it, not too steep, because it won't hold. And we're away. And just basically move that up to there. Just for a little bit of extra support while you take the corners off. It's a 13mm woodcut gouge. It's very secure in there on that taper. Finial type based project. You can get the smaller part first while you've got the support of the live centre. Set out a given design, and then you can take this away, move this in, come up with a 6mm gouge, put your finger in underneath it for support there. Turn an extra little bit of something there, and you can get some fine details going on with this type of holding method. You can hear the harmonics there where it's not supported by the tailstock, but as we get closer to there, it becomes more rigid. It's something that don't overlook it if you're just doing some small stuff, because it's really, really handy if you just want to have a go. Little wee things like that, and you don't have any pin jaws or any flash equipment. And there's the woodworm screws there for holding. You can get them various different lengths, and there's a standard one that fits into the middle of the chuck, and I'm sure you're all pretty familiar with that if you've seen a chuck. And the way I put it into the chuck is so that the edges of the internal edges of the jaws fit into that recess there. This is a 75mm standard faceplate. It goes onto there, snap it up onto the surface, put that onto there. So that's there with a 9mm hole in there. Use a brad point drill bit like that. That's going to give you a very clean hole. 9mm hole with the woodworm screw. So I just push it up against there, and that's more than capable of doing a little chuck holding there on that corner there for the chuck to bite that. So I now just give it a texture. A little wee foot I'm just going to put into those jaws there, and then just suck it down onto there. Just nip that up and we're away. So it's held first with that woodworm screw. A little bit of pattern on there from the texturing tool. And then turn around, whip the middle out. Obviously when it's first round that way, you would sand and wax and finish the outside. You'd complete it. Then you turn it around, grab it with your chuck, complete the inside, sand, wax, finish, done. So this is a live centre, a very, very smooth running live centre that will fit into there. The beauty of it is it's got these accessories that you can fit into it, and it will run sweetly like that, and then a little bit slower with the end. There we go. And while you're turning a piece, that will spin, and then you can auger bore down the hole, down the inside of your piece, and make anything like a standard lamp or light fittings and such like that. It's a holding method with a through hole.